Hey guys, bit of a lower quality video today, but please bear with me as I wanted to show off some pretty cool things possible on Tokyo Revengers. Now, I've been building a lot of Tokyo Revengers and prepping decks for videos, and in most of my decks, I've been feeling the need to include a particular card that, in my opinion, allows for some borderline broken stuff to happen. Now, the card in question is not some power creep double R. It's not just a card that's strong for the sake of being strong, like I'm not sure if Mitsuya intended to design it like this. It's also not a card you'll be spending a lot of money on obtaining. In fact, the card in question is the lowest possible rarity a card can get in Weiss, and it's this common rarity level 1 Mitsuya. Literally, you can buy a box of Tokyo Revengers and you probably have a playset of these, if not more. So what exactly does this Mitsuya do? Well, it has two effects. Only one is relevant for us. Its first effect is some 2-soul support, where if you trigger a 2-soul, you get to discard a revenge character and then salvage a character from your grave. Its second effect, however, is where some of the crazy stuff starts to happen. On its own, doesn't seem too special. It's an act that says discard 1, tap 2 of your characters, then choose a character from your win room with the same name as a character on either your or your opponent's side of the field, and add it to hand. Now, the intended use of this card was probably something with having like level 1 climax combo in grave, a level 1 climax combo in hand. You play this, you tap these two, you discard a random card from hand, you add a second copy of the level 1 climax combo. Now you're doing double combo, triple combo for pretty much no extra cost. All you did was tap 2, hand fix, which already on its own is really good. I think any deck would be glad to have a free hand fix towards a level 1 combo. And then from here you can keep snowballing, gain advantage to regular deck things. So the reason I started running the Mitsuya was pretty similar to this, and it had to do with this Mikey level 3. Now, for those who don't know, the Mikey is a finisher that shoots cards from deck straight to clock at a pretty hefty cost, which is pay 3, discard 1, and resonate this Mikey from hand. Especially in 8 standby, where this deck card is mostly ran in, it can be quite hard to gain multiple copies of this card. So the idea was, you just prep the one you need in hand and whatever else. Just mill enough to have the Mikey engraved. You play your 1 copy. Now you can tap 2, discard 1, hand fix to the other if it resonate, or if you already have 2, you can play a second copy and resolve double Mikey. This being costless allows you to preserve stock, preserve hand, makes it easier to resolve too. But once again, similar to the level 1 combo, it's nice to have, but nothing too game breaking yet. However, these next few examples are where I think the deck or the card becomes borderline broken. The first example has to do with Baji level 0. This Baji has 2 effects, but the only one we care about is pay 1, sack him, check top 4 of your deck, add a revenge character from there. So nothing too special. However, you can do some cool stuff with the Mitsuya. So all you need is 1 Baji in grave, 1 in hand to play on the field. And then if you have deck and whatever amount of stock, you can do some cool stuff. Now, 4 cards in hand, we play the Baji, we tap him, tap 1 of our back row, we discard that character from hand, we add the Baji from our grave to the hand since we have 1 on the field. Now we can sack this Baji at the cost for 1, mill up to 4 cards from our deck. We'll just stop here, add 1. Now we play the other Baji we added, tap 2, discard 1, add back the Baji. Now we can sack this again, mill up to 4, add whatever, replay the Baji, and just keep going for as long as our hand, for as long as our stock allows us to do this. Like in this case, you can play a second copy of the Baji. Now you can tap these 2, discard 1, add a Baji, and you just keep going since these replace themselves with random cards from the top of your deck. Obviously, you wouldn't want to infinite loop mill yourself since you would die to refresh damage. However, being able to do this 2 or 3 times even can be quite strong in certain deck states. You can pretty much guarantee any deck states with this Baji by just having 1 in grave, 1 in hand, and the Mitsuya on the field. You just keep looping this, mill through 12 clean. You can even combine this with the brainstorm. Obviously, you wouldn't do all of this in a single turn, but you do have the option. Most likely, just do 1, tap these 2, discard 1, add a new Baji to hand, and resolve this Baji and then keep this one for next turn to be able to loop this. You guarantee having a Baji in hand every turn. Now you can combine this with the Brainstorm, like have up to 8 mil per turn if you want, and pretty much have customizable mil every single turn. You're pretty much never punished for having bad deck states, since you can always mill to a good deck state. Now the next example is honestly even crazier. For this one we need a bit of clock, a bit of stock, and a random amount of hand. And it has to do with this Hina early play. Now the Hina early play has a 4 or more early play condition, gains -1 level in hand if you have 4 or more characters on the board. And she has an on-play ability of choose one of your other characters, put it into the win room. If you do, you can heal the top card of your clock to stock. Now once again, we only need 1 Hina in grave, 1 Hina in hand, the other copy doesn't matter. Just need 2 for this loop. We need to have a full board condition, so let's just play some random stuff. Now, we start by playing the Hina, pay 2, sack one of our characters, heal to stock. Now we can tap the Hina, tap one of our back row, we discard a random card from our hand, add the Hina back to hand. We play the Hina, pay 2, sacrifice the other Hina, heal to stock. Once again, we tap the Hina, tap the other back row, discard 1, add Hina from grave to hand. Play the Hina, pay 2, sack the Hina, heal to stock. Now we can, if we want, we can keep going. Discard 1, add the Hina, play the Hina, pay 2, sack this, heal to stock. So with 5 stock, and I think it was like 5 hand, we pretty much healed down, which honestly is quite insane to be able to pull off. Like setup-wise, all we needed was the Hina in grave, the Hina in hand, and the Mitsuya on the back row. And if you had more hand, more stock, more characters to sacrifice, like you can even sack this Baji to get a different playable, something like this, and then you can keep going even further. Honestly, quite crazy to be able to pull this off like that. I don't think there are many decks that can heal down this much at level 3, let alone at level 2, where we can start pulling this off. Like sure, you spend almost all of your resources, like all your stock, all your hand, but you pretty much heal down a full level, and all it required from us was running an early play we probably already included to some amount, and having this Mitsuya level 1 in our deck. Now the final example I have has to do with another level 3, and it's this Mitsuya level 3. Now this Mitsuya on its own is not that special. It has an on-play ability where you mill the top 2 cards of your deck and then burn your opponent for the amount of triggers you revealed. So if you mill 2 characters with a trigger, you burn 2. If you run 2 soul triggers, you can burn up to 4. It's nothing new, it isn't ran that often. However, with the Mitsuya, we can start looping this card. So pretty similar. I won't be doing all the actions since this requires many, but like you need 1 of these at least in hand. 2 is even nicer. And then at least 1 of these is in grave. And then the more stock, the more hand you have, the more often you can pull this off. Pretty much you just play 1 of these, spend the stock, mill, burn, play another copy of these, spend the stock, mill, burn, then we can tap 2 of these, discard 1, grab another copy of him. Now we overplay 1 of these, we mill, we burn, tap 2, discard 1, grab back the other copy, overplay, tap 2, discard 1, grab back this copy, overplay, and then, you know, if we have more cards in hand, we can keep looping, otherwise, you know, just field 2 extra attackers. And you've had as many instances of damage as you can afford, plus 3 attacks. This Mitsuya is definitely quite explosive when done in this way, especially if you can set up your deck to include a lot of triggers. Now obviously none of the loops I've shown you are actually infinite. They're all stock gated, all hand gated, but you are able to loop them to an obnoxious degree where it actually impacts the game. And especially in Tokyo Revengers, there's a lot of extra stock generation, extra hand generation, half of those not even being tied to a climax combo, where looping these effectively during a match is quite possible. And all it really took from us, like all it actually cost, was having this level 1 Mitsuya in our deck. I'm not really sure what else to add to this. The card is pretty broken. Is it too good? I'm not sure. I think for English it might be a bit too strong. In Japanese I hear there's a lot more bullshit going on, so it might not really matter there. But this card definitely pushes Tokyo Revenger to a new level. Anyway, that was mostly it. These are all the loops that I'm aware of, at least. There's probably more I'm not realizing yet. If there's something you don't understand, you can leave a comment. I'll try to answer. Other than that, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.